Hello, I'm Kerri Beatty, and I lead our Academy enablement function at WNS-Denali. Our team focuses on providing products and services that help clients build capabilities across all procurement dimensions by providing training and strategic enablement support. But today I'm here to cover 3 pro tips on travel and expense management, or T&E. So scope varies across organizations, however, typically includes things like air and ground transportation, lodging, meeting and event-related expenses, the agencies who help you manage your travel and meeting related spend, expense reimbursement tools, and credit card payment vehicles. Effective management of these categories can be a significant source of value for your organization. However, it does require that you go beyond sourcing and contracting to realize that value, which leads me to pro tip number 1. Be mindful of the impact of T&E within your organization. From a financial perspective, T&E is one of the largest controllable expenses. However, it's unique in that purchasing decisions are generally made by individuals who are heavily influenced by their awareness and preferences. This means that realizing savings for sourcing and contracting are at a high risk without good category management practices in place. From a people perspective, it's important to consider that travel policies and tools, they can have significant impact on things like employee wellness, recruiting, and retention. If you have historically overlooked the impact that frequent travelers experience for themselves and for their families, it may be worth spending some time educating yourself on the concept of traveler friction. Before making big decisions to tighten travel policies, it's a good practice to look at the big picture, engage relevant stakeholders, maybe like HR and sales, to help avoid some of those unintended consequences. Pro tip number 2 is around data sources and key metrics. Having good data visibility is critical for effective category management. Although you need multiple data sources to manage T&E, it is a category where there are mountains of data available. So let's cover a few of the key ones. First is expense data. So when reporting fields are optimized, expense data provides great visibility into your supplier spend across categories. In fact, it has enough detail that it's often used as a primary data source for hotel RFPs. Next is agency data booking. This is the key input for sourcing and contracting projects, and it's critical for identifying demand management opportunities. Small changes in traveler behavior, if you can find opportunities to change small things about traveler behavior, it can yield a lot of benefit. Last but not least is supplier data. So before negotiating, it's good to compare your data with your supplier's data, since neither of you likely have the full picture. It can be overwhelming once you gather all of this data, so now what? That's where the idea of metrics come in. You build a metric dashboard or multiple dashboards to help you quickly get to the insights that you need. These will help you identify areas of opportunity for savings and continuous improvement, inform your sourcing and contracting decisions, and they'll help you manage your contractual commitments. You want to make sure that you're meeting the contractual commitments, things like volume and market share, but not exceeding them unless that's part of your sourcing strategy. Some common metrics that are tracked across categories include spend under management, contracted spend, what percent is contracted versus that is not, preferred supplier and booking channel compliance, as well as things like how much are you spending per trip, what's your market share with each of the suppliers. And another pro tip to add within that one is that fair market share is something that all of your suppliers are looking at. If you don't know what that is, look that up, because it is something that your suppliers are aware of, and you should at least try to get to the best understanding that you can during negotiations. You also want to keep an eye on category-specific metrics, such as airlines. You want to look at cost per mile, advanced days purchase, or days advanced purchase. With hotels, you want to look at average daily rate, patterns of stay, and make sure with all of these metrics that you're looking at them from different points of view to help narrow your focus for continuous improvement or communication strategies, looking at them by lenses around your business group or business or division, preferred suppliers, market or routes, individuals versus groups and meetings, even by individual travelers. Pro tip number 3 is about the importance of having high stakeholder engagement and communication channels in place with your internal and external stakeholders. It's critical that you understand true requirements and are able to identify bottlenecks and friction points. You don't need to do this all on your own. Build strategic supplier partnerships with your agencies and key travel suppliers. They'll help you find creative ways to evolve your T&E program, especially when you frame it as a win-win. Establish strong internal communication channels to gather the feedback that you need across the spectrum of stakeholders to help you optimize policy, process, technology solutions, and communication. When you're engaging with every level from the executives down to the individual travelers, you'll get the feedback that you need to make sure that you have a fit for purpose program that is driving the most value. Just tips around how to engage them. Try engaging key influencers like executive assistants. You can do lunch and learns. In fact, you can involve them in your sourcing process. For an example, you can help them. Let you create your hotel solicitation list. Give them a role in supplier selection, and by doing this, they'll be invested in your success and will help direct large groups of people to comply and have higher preferred supplier compliance, and that in itself will drive savings. So each organization is different. So play around to see what works. Get involved, get creative, test things like gamification. Strong communication is really the glue that holds everything together. Most people will do the right thing when they're informed. So when you have a good balance of communication with easy access to information, you're enabling smart buying decisions. For example, many travelers would be surprised to know that booking more than 60 days in advance may actually cost the organization more money than if they booked 14 days in advance. So take the time to create relevant and targeted communication to inform your travelers and arrangers, and you may be surprised with the results. And with that, I will close and say thank you for your time. There's a lot of hard work that goes into building and maintaining a successful T&E program. We're filming this during the COVID-19 crisis, and that means that travel is likely severely limited or non-existent within your organization. So a little bit of investment now may help you be prepared when activities increase. So thanks for listening. I hope you found this helpful, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn.